Today, we're going to talk about avoiding procrastination and distraction in this crappy stuff we got going on here now. Because unlike many of you that may have transitioned to working from home, I've been doing it for 10 years. And even for me, it's different right now because I got kids in the house all the time that should be at school, that they're not at school, that need my help. So we're going to talk about that specifically because I've seen a lot of idealized views of this is what you should do. And I think you clearly don't have children. I know you don't have children because there's no way that would work. I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I try to schedule my day, how I try to make my day productive in the midst of everything else that just has to invade it because that's how things are working right now. Buckle up. Some of the things you'll see out there is stuff like write 1 to 3 things down. And that's a great way if you can plan your day ahead. I actually like that part, but write 1 to 3 things down. But that also doesn't account for hey, I've got clients asking me. The thing, I've seen a lot of the people doing this advice that are basically they run their own business and their only client is themselves. So they can write 1 to 3 things down and there's nobody asking for stuff in the middle of the day. Another great thing is go find solitude. I try to tell my kids to stay to my office, but there's dance parties. I literally, just before I started recording this, suddenly everyone started doing jumping jacks up above because they had to do a fitness thing for school. I thought, oh, great, that's perfect. Perfect. I'll go find solitude while there's thump, 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 thump. At the same time, people are saying, hey, it's okay not to be productive. You don't have to be productive. It's COVID. This is a new thing. Come on. Don't, let yourself off the hook. I get some of that. It sounds really good to just say you don't have to be that productive. The truth is that if I am not productive, I don't get to stay in this house because I can't afford it. I have to do a certain number of hours per week for clients. I have to, keep recording. I have to keep producing videos. There's no stopping any of this. I have to get a certain amount of everything done. So while it is okay, and I've always actually done this fairly well, I'm okay with letting myself off the hook sometimes and saying, hey, today, I wasn't feeling it today. Yesterday, actually, I watched the Spider-Verse with my kids because I just wasn't feeling it. Because I was I'm not getting much done. I might as well just not do stuff. That's fine. Right, I already hit my numbers for the month. So I'm okay to, take off a little bit. Being today, I'm recording the last day of April. But realistically, I just can't do that all the time. I can't let myself off all the time because then we would have no money because my wife's out of work currently. Now, I can also tell you to get up early. I do, and I was up at 4:45 this morning. It is, I don't even know what time, 10:13. I have run 15 kilometers this morning. I did hill repeats on a local mountain. I ran in the pouring rain, and I have also cleaned my office today, and I have also read for an hour today, and I made breakfast, and I did some laundry. And there's no way that my wife could do any of those things because she is not a morning person. She was up till 12 last night, 12:30, I think, and she was doing a whole bunch of other stuff then. But me saying, hey, just get up early, that's useless to you. That's not helpful because if you're not a morning person, it's not going to work. So instead of telling you, here's my schedule, I actually just read a really good one in the End of Average, which I can show you the slipcover. End of Average by Todd Rose, where he said that we're always looking for this quick path to success. I'm summarizing it here. The quick path to success, and we're just trying to follow someone else's plan. So I'm not going to give you my daily minute-by-minute plan, and here's every tip I have, because my plan isn't going to work for you. Because you may have more kids than me. You may have a better office than me. You may have no office. I'm lucky to have this office. I'm in an office that I can lock the door, house, garage. I can lock them both and kind of be alone. I'm going to tell you about some of the main principles you can use to organize your day. First off is do your focused work first. In When by Daniel Pink, I've reviewed that. I will link it somewhere. He talked about basically every hour in the day is not the same. So you are most focused in the few hours after you wake up, basically. You have a lull, and then you have more focus. Not the same as the morning, but you have more focus again for a couple hours, and you have a lull. And that's how you should organize your day. So that means when you first get up, whatever time that is, whether you're a morning person or an evening person, get up and do some focused work. The first thing you need to do focused work. And then take a break. Do a little bit of work that's not focused, right? I can answer my email. I can do some other things like that. And then take a break. Take a break away from screens. Because their screens just aren't good for you. I've already written about this on my site. I will link to it somewhere. Screens are bad for you. Screens mean you're not resting. Screen means you are not letting your brain rest. So take a break away from screens. Then come back to work and do a little bit more focused work. And then do the rest of your email. Do the rest of the stuff that doesn't take a lot of focus, doesn't take a lot of creative brain power. I always call this the mullet method, where I'm like super focused in the morning and I do more appointments and more other stuff in the afternoon. Right? Focus in the morning, party in the back. The mullet method. That's how I do my day. Usually, now I actually ran first thing this morning, but usually I would work for the first bit of the morning, then I would run, and then I would go back to work for the afternoon. I didn't, COVID, I got it early, on the mountain early before there'd be lots of people, so I only saw like 4 people total, which is good. That's what I want. But normally I would record everything, and I'd be running right now at 10:13 in the morning instead. Getting my mental break, getting away from things, taking 3 hours to just go unwind, recharge, and then come back to work. Tip number 1, do your focused work first, take a break, do some more focused work, clean up the stuff after. Do not jump into email if you can help it. Second up, schedule stuff. Just like we just said, like you're more focused in the morning. So scheduling stuff is a good idea. I'm using To-Do, which is TEUXDEUX.com. To do. Anyway, you'll find it. TEUXDEUX, which is a weird name. But anyways, I like the week layout. I like that I can say like, in the morning it was run, and then I had read, and then I had record videos, and then I have at 12 o'clock, I have a meeting with Paulette. And then there's I put another meeting at 1300 because I have a meeting with another client, with a possible client. And then I have like, I got to pick up some books from the Bookman today too. And it's perfect. It's perfect. It just gives you a week view, and I can see all my stuff and I don't have to worry about it. There's lots of things that I like about it. I'm not sure I love it, but we'll actually review that later. So customizing or like planning out your day the night before is a good thing. So even if you're in support, a lot of support people have like other tasks. I got to do documentation too. So talking to your boss saying like, I'm going to spend the first 60 minutes of my day not doing the support and doing a hard push on documentation on whatever, and then getting into the rest of like the support calls, which are, pulling your focus here and there and multiple things at a time and multiple emails that you're dealing with. That is a good way if you can get away with it. I suggest that if you can, if you have any say over your schedule, make your first part of the day and schedule it the night before. Just do what you can do. Like focus on your tasks at hand and don't let your focus get stolen, and schedule that the night before. Next up, cut notifications if you can. I've actually loved, because my wife's not working. I don't love that she's not working because she likes her job, but I've loved that I don't need my phone because my whole family's in the house and no one else lives near me that in my family that needs to get a hold of me in an emergency. So my phone has sat over here on my shelf like most of the time. It just stays there. No notifications, don't even hear it. I walk around the house with nothing in my pockets and I'm not waiting for like maybe some call. So my wife will say when she's coming home, or say, hey, can you make sure this is out when I come home between stuff so that I can, get it and leave again. I love it that I don't have to worry about that. That has been like a huge blessing, we'll say. Like it's just been excellent to have no notifications. I turn notifications off on like everything. I don't have notifications on my iPad really. I don't have them on my phone unless it rings. I don't have them on almost anything. And that lets me stay focused. Yet I understand that some people, you got Slack. People, you're expected to be on Slack. And I don't know that I have good advice there for you, except that it's terrible. And maybe you need to find a company that doesn't really require you to be on Slack all the time. As I've changed my business this year, I have now no need for Slack in my regular days. So I literally might go weeks without checking it, which is excellent. And I love it. I love not, having to be, Jason Fried and David Heinemeier Hansen have said on their 37 Signals blog, 37 Signals? Signal versus Noise blog. Slack is like an all-day meeting that you just have to be in all the time. And ultimately, this is a final tip. This is all about creating a context that works for you. There is a lot, The End of Average being one book, Atomic Habits being another book, about how powerful context is. That you change your context and you change how good you are at things, right? People are not truthful or untrustworthy, trustworthy or untrustworthy. They are trustworthy in context and untrustworthy in context. Right? Put candy in front of a kid and they might take it, but if you ask them, did such and such a thing happen? They'll tell you the truth, maybe. Or depending on each person, it's different. To steal the term from The End of Average, it's jagged as far as their truthiness or any traits. but trustworthy in one spot, and they don't respond well in other things. So building a context that you can succeed in is a good idea. Whether that's headphones, whether that's having I'm lucky to have an office and I can shut it and like not see people. That's excellent. And that's the goal you need to do, is figure out where you excel. Figure out where you're really good, where you can do your best work, and trying to refine your job, your workspace, everything you do so that you can do your best work. And for God's sake, just lock the doors on the kids. Tie them up. I don't even know what. Like, one of my tips, here's a tip. You've already seen my little daughter dancing. I literally just turn the camera on and let it record her. She can dance for half an hour. She can see herself in the camera. And then I don't have to be distracted by her because she's just behind me. When she says, let's stop, Dad, I just hit it again and hit record. And you know what I do with all that? Just delete most of it. Don't even keep it. All the time, they're like, oh, I just danced for an hour and Dad recorded it. My wife looks at me and I'm like, I just deleted it. Because who needs it? But it keeps them busy. And that's the important part. Or give them the GoPro and they'll play with it for a couple hours and they'll watch videos and kill batteries and record videos, and I just turn it off. That's how I try to keep them busy and out of my hair. If you liked the video, you can give me a thumbs up. If you loved it, you can subscribe and then hit the bell, because that's how YouTube lets you know that I made new videos. But make sure your notifications are off, as we just discussed. Create a context so you can get your work done, and that's not getting notifications from YouTube. If you really loved it, you can go to patreon.com/CurtisMcHale and you can support the channel. Make sure there's more productivity, tech, family, honestly, more of me. Just whatever content I find interesting is what's going to come up. Have a good day.